So how about that? A new year and a new intro. Hey everyone, Sean here for the WorldCupNow.com, bringing you your Barclays Fantasy Premier League tips. This is for Game Week 20. I'm recording this on December 30th, just because I know New Year's is going to be very busy, not only for me, but for the rest of you guys. So I want you guys to be safe, have a lot of fun, and enjoy watching all the footy on New Year's Day. I know that's what I'll be doing in jogging pants, nursing a slight hangover. Anyways, just going to go over one topic this week for Game Week 20. It doesn't really pertain to Game Week 20, but it's going to start after this game week, and that's the January Wildcard. So, I'm going to flip it over, give you some good tips on how to maximize some profits and stay above falling prices. So, I'm going to flip the screen and we'll go from there. Alright, so I'm just over here at the PremierLeague.com website on their rules and their FAQ section, and this is just so you guys can see when the actual when the actual wild card starts. It will start after Game Week 20 and go until the end of Game Week 23. So basically February 1st is really when you want to use your wild card. To be honest, I've always used it as late as possible, and sometimes it comes to the point where you only use it so you don't take a -4 or a -8, because a lot of teams, as you know, are getting to be very, very similar, and more so by the time Game Week 23 rolls around, Aguero's going to be back. So you know, there's a lot of people who are going to be having Mertesacker, Walcott, Hazard, Silva, Suarez, Rooney, Negredo to a lesser effect until Aguero comes back. So, and Coleman, Lukaku. So a lot of these teams are going to look similar, and it's going to be these outlying players, you know, that you don't really expect to really make the difference. So you want to structure your team that way, and I've shown you guys this site before, and it's been very helpful in the last wildcard. It's helpful in all wildcards or any game week whatsoever. And you can see here it's totalfpl.com. It is their price changes portion of their website. I bookmarked just the price changes because that's really all I look at. But as you can see, and this is going to be something to watch out for over the next wildcard period, over these game weeks, is prices that are increasing, which are always good. You want to see your guys on there. I got Suarez, Walcott. So I've got 3 players that are going to be increasing in value tonight. But more importantly, you want to look after falls. Now this is where you can really get caught. It's really important to kind of estimate who's going to be getting rid of who on their team. And this is a good way of seeing who is dumping people, like what managers are dumping people. You can see that 38,000 people have transferred Phil Jagielka out. Now he is on a yellow flag, meaning he's partially injured or is not expected to play in the next game. If you look at you know, Morgan here with a green flag, that means his price is going to drop. And what happens is if you're on your wild card and you haven't used it yet, but you have players, say like an Aaron Ramsey or Flanagan, that you weren't paying attention to, or that you just thought, okay, I'll get rid of them on my wild card, really pay particular attention, because what's going to happen is if their value drops, you're not going to be able to sell them for as high as you anticipated. Meaning that if you want to do 2 transfers, you want to get rid of a cheap defender and a mid-priced midfielder so you can bring in Silva and maybe someone else. What that means is that your someone else is not going to be a good someone else. You're going to have lower value to buy back someone, and what that's going to affect is it's going to affect your bench. And I think a lot of you managers have seen over the Christmas period that having a bench is very, very important. If you don't have a bench, that's where you're going to get arrows. You're going to get red arrows down because you have no one to come off your bench, whether you get lucky and you catch a clean sheet or you catch someone who scored coming off your bench. Even if you just get a 2. A 2 is better than nothing. And in the end, it will really count. And we're getting into the winter fixtures now, and the colder periods. There's going to be some fixture changes or alterations, which means we're going to have double game weeks. People are going to get rested. People are going to get injured. So this is where we get into the nitty-gritty. When we start the second half of the season, getting into the last third, a lot of fatigue sets in, and that's where it's going to be really important to have a good bench. And it gets back to where if you're not paying attention to these guys who are dropping, you're going to lose your value, and you're not going to get that good player who's getting 90 minutes a game. Feel confident enough you can just keep him on his bench, or on your bench, pardon me. So that's going to be very important. Now, for myself personally, I'm not using my wildcard until the very, very last moment. And even then, like I said, it's only in the case of severe injuries. Someone in the January transfer window comes in that really piques my interest, and it's like a must-have. I recommend that you guys try and hold off. If you've been really struggling with your team coming into the January wildcard, then by all means, use it. Use it knowing that you might have to make changes later on, because if you use it early, you might get what's called, marketing term, but you get buyer's remorse. I'm sure you guys are all aware of it. You go out, you buy something new and shiny, you bring it home, and then it doesn't look so shiny, and you think, ah, crap, why did I get this? And that's just like the same thing with your fantasy team. You think some player is awesome, you bring him in, he doesn't do anything for 1 or 2 weeks, and you think, oh man, you just start kicking yourself, and you transfer him out. And that's kind of why waiting to the last minute to do your wild card, and maybe sometimes not even just using your wild card, is sometimes beneficial. But what you want to do is you actually want to pay attention. If I can instill any tip for this game week and moving forward, is just pay attention over the next few weeks, because this is what's going to really shape the second half of the season. Walcott and Hazard were good second half players last year, and you'll see that a lot of managers have them or have been getting them already, and it shows. Front lines are always going to be kind of the same, I have a feeling, this season in the Premier League, and that's going to be Suarez, Rooney, Aguero, and some type of variation of that, and maybe you've got your Remy's, Lukaku's, and whoever may come in terms of strikers in the second half. And just pay attention, use your resources to your advantage, which is use total FPL to your advantage so you can see who's rising and who's falling. I mean, if I was going to bring someone in today and I had to make a transfer, I'd be looking at Sterling or Cabaye, because you can get that extra 1 point or 0.1 in the end, and you know that people or other managers are doing the same move. So it doesn't always hurt to follow the crowd, and you got to follow the crowd to a little extent, but again, I have a feeling it's going to be the outliers that are going to win the league. But if you don't have the core group of players, then you're going to be left behind. So, that being said, again, wish you a happy New Year's. I wish you guys all the success and fun and excitement that the Premier League brings, and especially on the fantasy tip, because we get very involved in it. And hopefully you guys had also a very good holiday season, and you got everything that you wanted, and you spent it with family and friends and those you care about, and had some good eats and good drinks and just good times, because you know what, time is the one thing that is finite and is one of the most valuable assets you can give someone. So giving people time to share with one another is more than a gift than anything else. So if you didn't get all your presents that you wanted, hey, don't worry. As long as you got to spend time with your friends, that's all that matters. Best of luck for Game Week 20 and for the second half of the season, and I will see you guys next game week.